So guys, this is the Samsung Galaxy S10 Lite. While the price segment in which this phone lands is tightly held by companies such as OnePlus, Samsung didn't left any stones unturned to make their presence felt. Now, as I always say, the first thing that someone sees when they hold a phone is the display. And if you're a display lover, I assure you won't need to see any other specification and directly hop onto this phone. Samsung is always known for making the best smartphone displays in the market, and they did it this time too. This phone comes with a super massive 6.7-inch Super AMOLED Plus display, which even supports HDR+. I mean, keeping the numbers aside, in real, when you look at this display, it's very eye-soothing. It has a 1080p resolution, 394 pixel density, and 88% screen-to-body ratio. The bezels are really thin, even on the edges, which we often don't see on budget smartphones such as the A series, but this time Samsung has done it. The bezels are really thin, and considering the small bezels and the small hole punch cutout, videos, photos, everything look absolutely crazy great on this phone. That means multimedia consumption is A+ on this phone. Moving to the back, guys, the back of this phone looks pretty decent, but if you don't like it, you can always grab on a skin or a cover, links below. The back of the phone is made of a glass-stick material, which is a combination of 70 to 30% ratio of glass and plastic, and the carbon fiber material of the plastic helps to keep your phone cool over a long time run. The curves on the back of the phone really makes it comfortable to hold the phone in the hand. Although it's big, it fits in the hand very perfectly. Moving to the inside, it comes with a Snapdragon 855, Adreno 640 GPU, 6 or 8 GB of RAM, and 128 or 512 UFS 2.1 storage. I thought Samsung would, as usual, go for some of its Exynos processor like the A series, but Samsung did a really good job by going with the Snapdragon processor. The specs are pretty top notch to make the phone run at its full potential. Daily basis performance, switching between apps, taking photos, video editing is pretty snappy and fast, and you won't face any lag. Even the gaming is pretty nice. You can game for long hours without having to worry about heating up your phone or lagging thanks to the carbon fiber material. The battery on this phone is very huge, 4500 mAh, which gives you about 7 to 8 hours screen on time, which is really good numbers in 2020. It comes with a 25-watt in-box fast charger, which guarantees charges your phone from 10% to 100% in 1 hour, practically tested. Some of the weird things that Samsung does on its phone is like long pressing the power button doesn't actually open the power menu, but actually activates Bixby. But you can always go to the settings, search for the side key, and select whatever you want to do with the side key. And that is what is the beauty of Android. The in-display fingerprint works really nice. It recognizes your finger 8 out of 10 times. I really love the animation that you get when you put your finger on. The green vibrance, they're really nice to look at. Even while using the face unlock, it unlocks very nicely. Not the fastest, but a great face unlock. Uses the basic front camera to identify you, and even it has great animation, and I'm really impressed by the small touches that Samsung is giving to its phone. Now the main part, the triple camera setup. It's really good on this phone. The 48 megapixel main camera takes really good colored and sharp pictures in both low and high lighting areas. The 12 megapixel ultra wide manages to take good photos, but it lacks color and sharpness. And to be honest, I don't find any requirement to have the 5 megapixel macro lens. It's just of no use. Maybe Samsung just put that to follow the trend of triple cameras. You can record slow motion 240 fps videos with the main camera, as well as 4K 60 fps, which is pretty good. The front camera is a 32 megapixel. It's nice, sharpness, highlights are pretty decent, and yeah, it's good. It's pretty decent, good camera setup. But the main thing that hits everyone's mind is, should you be buying this? I mean, there's a ton of competition at this range, starting from the OnePlus 7 to OnePlus 8 to OnePlus 7T, which is one of the most powerful competition. As I said at the starting of the video, if you're a display person, you can go blindly for this phone, but if you ain't only a display person, you can wait for the comparison video later this week. So that was it, guys. If you like this video, make sure to give that a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Subscribe for more videos like this. I'll catch you guys later this week.